This is a tutorial for PMs on how to use Git with Claude Code. Git now is becoming super important. You can think of it as the memory card of all of the work that we do. So I'll show you like the normal commands that can help you jump in, and hopefully I can do it under 20 minutes. So the first thing that we will do, we will open up a terminal, and in the terminal, let's say I'll create a new directory. Make directory, let's call it learn Git, for example. Then I'll go to this directory and I will open up Claude. The directory is now empty. What we want to do is we want to initialize Git for this directory, because this will help us, like whenever we do anything, we can like have like a memory for it. Now, if you're using a Mac, already Git is installed on your Mac by default. If you're using Windows, you have to install something called Git Bash. Now, before doing anything, we want to install as well something called the Git CLI or the GitHub command line tools. This will make our lives much easier. So what I want to do first is I want you to install it. You go to this website, cli.github, and you would copy this command and you would put it here. Okay, if brew is not installed, it will tell you to install it. If GitHub is not installed, it will go with you. So it was already installed. What it did is just it upgraded Git. If there is any problems, you can just talk with Claude and tell it like, help me install the GitHub CLI, because it will make things much faster as we go. Okay, now let's start. So the first thing I'll do, I'll just say initialize Git or Git init, or I can just tell Claude initialize Git for this folder. So it will initialize it. This is just like step one of doing anything. Okay, perfect. The other thing we will do is that, let's say I'll create a simple HTML file and init, and in the file write hello world. And I'll say again, whenever I do any updates in Git, refresh the file, because this will make it automatically refresh here on the side. I'll just say open the file so I can see it. So now here it's opened and it told me hello world. Now, when we talk about Git, remember when, for example, you're using Google Docs and you say like control save or save the document, saving any changes we do is called commit, like a git commit. Commit or git commit, for example, or you can just say, hey, commit this, git commit, and I would say you have to give it a name. So let's say hello v1, for example. And this will be like the first commit that we do. So it looks like there was a mistake here and it didn't initialize the command. So I will tell it, yes, like initialize it and commit. So it initialized it, it added like the index as like a file that we can go back to, and it did like the commit message. Now, what I want to show you is, let's say we add more details here. Let's say add a new line to the HTML and say hello v2. So now it finished, it added hello v2. Now hello v2 is not saved as a version. So let's say we will add this and call it hello v2. So it will commit this change as well. Okay, now let's add a third version. Let's say we say add a new button to be green. Call it, for example, explode. So it will add this button. Now it automatically finished, but it did not commit the changes yet. We will also add commit changes. Sometimes I don't have to give it a name. It will come up with a name itself. So it already added a message called add green explode a button. Now, what if I want to see all of the changes that happened across like the last 10 minutes or something? I would just say git log or just show me that log. So it will tell me like all of the changes that happened. So do you see here? Here are all of like these different changes. There is hello v1, hello v2, and the add green explode button. And for each one, there is a hash. And this is like the ID of this commit. This is very important because using this hash, this is like the ID of this version that I can go back to. Now, all of this work is only on my laptop. It's not like remote where anyone could see it. This is where GitHub comes into play. So already using the GitHub command line tools, I did like the authentication. You can do it here. It's very easy. What I'll do is that I'll tell like Claude, push this branch or push this work remotely, like on my remote GitHub account. It will put it and it will create what's called a repo or a repository. This is where all of the files can be found on the cloud. So for example, here I'll say, add this repo on my account and make it public, because it can be either public or private. So already it logged in. If you need any authentication, just ask Claude, how can I authenticate? So now it says done. It's there. We can open it. Here it is. And this is the index.html, and this was the last commit. Now I can add more things. I can say, for example, add README. A README isn't like a normal file that whenever you open a GitHub account, you can see it. So now you'll see when I say add a README, it added it, it committed it, and it already like pushed it here. Now, if I refresh, you'll see it. There's like an actual README. Now, what happened here is a mistake because I told it add, but it didn't understand like what does add mean? Does it mean commit? Does it mean taking this code and pushing it as well to the cloud or not? So I will teach it some things to avoid this mistake. I will say, when I say add, I just mean apply edits to a file. When I say commit, I only mean commit. Don't put to the remote info. Only I will tell you. So now it understands like the way I work. I don't want it to push things automatically. So now if, let's say, this is like the README file, let's say, instead of what's inside in the README, call it what's inside this whole repo. So now it will just edit the files locally. It will not push because it should have learned this new thing. So now it added it. It's not there. It's not here. Even if I refresh, it's not here. However, what I'll do now is I'll tell it commit your changes. It's now committed, but it's not here as well because there is one more command I need to do, which is called push, like push to the remote branch. I'll say as well, now push to remote. So now it should be here. If I refresh the page, you will see it. It's called what's inside this cool rep. So this is what we did when it comes to the commits. And again, if I say like git log, it will show me all of like the different things that we did from the start. We did add README, update README section, and everything. I'll add another example as well so we can understand things. I'll say add red button, call it fire, and commit change. So it should add the button here. Now it added. I'll also, because I'm using the model that's called Opus, I'll use the Haiku model, which is much faster because we're not doing anything advanced here. So what we'll do now is we will go over the history again. Let's say git log again. And we want to go back at a point in time, like at a specific version. So let's say, so this is the red button. Let's say I want to go to this version, like the version where I said hello v2. So I'll take this commit and I'll say checkout with this commit. So you can imagine as if I'm going back in time, I'm just seeing this version, like the code locally refreshed to be this version. If I want to go back to what's called the main, I'll just say go back to main. Once I go back, I can see it here. What if I want to go back to, for example, even hello v1? I'll just say check out this, and it will open up this. Now I'll say go back to main. Now, what if I want like the new code to discard one of the changes that I did? Let's say I want to like discard the changes that we did on, for example, the green button. So I would go to like git log. I will take this, for example, this is the last thing. And I would say reset. Reset means it will delete all of the other commits, and this will be like the new commit that we start from. If I say, for example, reset with this. So now it did a reset and it went back to the version where we had like a green button. What I'll do is that I'll do 3 more versions. I'll add a blue button and I'll add a yellow button, and we'll see like how does reset works. So here I'll say create a yellow button and commit. I'm going to say create a blue button and commit as well. So it added the yellow button, and it will add as well another blue button. And for each there is a commit. So if you look at git log, it will show us like 2 new commits. Usually the first commit is called like the head. Like this is like the latest and greatest of our code. This is what we usually see. Now, if I do like a reset, let's say I want to go back here. If I do a reset, all of these are deleted. I cannot go back to them. It's like deleting from the head back to the commit that we're resetting from, which is usually something that people don't do much, but this is like the worst case scenario where you want to go back to like a very old version. Now, what we'll do now is we'll do a concept called branching, and this will help you understand many things. Before doing branching, I'll tell you something that will make your life easier. Just use the status line here and say right? The branch names and wrap lines into lines. This is the status line of Claude Code. Now it's working. It's telling me you are on the learn Git repository on a branch that's called main, and this is what all of our work was on. But before doing any changes, I'll say like push remote, so that GitHub would be updated, like this one. It was saying here 10 minutes ago. Now it's updated, saying 3 minutes ago, which is now working. So now our remote is very similar to our like local setting, or what people call the working tree, and this is what's called like the remote branch. Now, usually what people do, there is something called the main branch, this one. But usually whenever you do any new change or do any new thing, you take like a copy of the main branch and you do your work there, then you go back to the main branch. So to do this, we'll say create a new branch. Call it, for example, because we will do like some navigation. Okay, so it created this new branch, the header nav branch. We'll do some changes. I'll say add a simple nav header that says hello. So it will just do its magic. It will add like a simple thing. Then we will commit it, and then we will tell you like why did we do this and how we will merge back to main. It now finished. It added like a header on this branch. So this branch is called the header nav. Now we have two branches. We have main and we have header nav. What we'll do is that I'll commit this, changes. And I'll show you if we go back to the main branch, we will not see this. So if I say switch to main, you shouldn't see this. Now, let's exit this whole Claude session and I'll show you what we can do. Let's say exit. Let's say open it again. Okay, now it's on the main branch. If I want to go back to the work that I was working on, I will say switch to a nav branch. If you don't know the branch names, you can ask Claude, like, tell me the branch names that we have. Okay, perfect. Now, usually all of the work that people see is on main. Like this is considered as like your website. This is the main thing that people see. Branches are like features that people are working on. If I want to take this and put it into like main, what I'll do is that I'll say, lift this branch with me. So it will merge it, and now I'm on main. But if I refresh the page, this is what I'll see. Now, if I push this, push remote, it should push the work. So whenever you do like a new branch, whenever you do like a new feature, usually put it in a new branch, because you can discard the whole branch right away if you don't like it. So what we just did was very, very wrong. It's not right to like merge from a branch onto main suddenly, unless you're like an indie developer that's working only on your project. And then again, it's not correct. The correct way would be to gather as many commits as you have from this branch and create what's called a pull request. So you would push this into like the remote repository, and this would be called like a pull request where someone would review and then they would click on like the merge button. So let's do like a new branch and call it, create a new branch, call it footer, for example. You'll see here it switched to footer. Now I'll say add a footer and say footer, for example. So now it added the footer and we are on the footer branch. Now let's add another item. So you can imagine there could be multiple commits. So we can commit like the footer one. And let's say, for example, add empty social media icons on footer, and it should finish. So it added here like empty icons. I'll say commit changes as well. Now, if I do like a git log here, I'll see the history of the two things I added. So it will be, you see these are on this branch. However, if I go back to the main branch and do like a git log, it will only see till this one. Okay, so for example, let's say I say switch to main. This is now main and there is no footer. If I say git log, it will now show me without the footer. Great. Now switch to footer branch. We'll go back to the footer. We should see the footer here. Now, if I go to my GitHub account here, you see these are like the the branches. Let me refresh. It only sees main. It doesn't see any other branch. So the first thing I'll say publish this branch, which means this branch can be seen remotely. And it will create a pull request. So when you can either say publish the branch or create a pull request. The pull request will have the 2 commits that we wanted. So we will click here on compare and pull, or if you go to the pull requests, you'll see it here. And in the PR, I'll just say description, this is new footer. And I'll create the pull request. And it has like the 2 items that I had. Here, when I say merge pull request, it will merge it against main. Like it will merge the code in footer and put it into main. So if I say here, merge pull request. So now main is updated. Now, if I here locally, if I say switch to main, we will not see it. Why we will not see it? Because the code is updated remotely, but it's not updated locally. The main remote, or what they call main origin, is ahead of main locally. So here I will say fetch main, which means bring the code in main and put it here. So if I put new updates. So now we pulled the updates that we did and we pulled it here back. Let's do another try for our new branch and see how things would go. So say create a new, for example, sign up branch. So now it should switch to sign up. So now we are on the sign up branch. I would say create a simple sign up mockup, and it should finish it. So it finished the sign up pop-up. That's it. I click here, just like some empty sign up. Already it committed the changes to the sign up branch. Now what we want to do is that we want to publish this again and make a pull request. So I will say, for example, create a pull request with these changes. So already, because GitHub CLI is connected, it will already create like a pull request and it automatically will add the info in the pull request. I will just click on the merge button. So here, it tells me this is the pull request. If I go to the code here, it will tell me just like a pull request. So here is the pull request and it's added everything and it says merge this pull request. Perfect. So now main is updated, but again, this is main remote. So here, if I switch to main, I will say, for example, fetch pull main remote or main order. So it will fetch the sign up button here. So now it's fetched and everything works correctly. So that's it. We came to the end of this long tutorial. Hopefully, like this will get you up and running, let's say like 50 to 60% of the commands you need to know as like a PM or like a designer. And what I want you to do in your learning journey is simply ask Claude. Like if you don't understand something, you can ask Claude, hey, what does this command do? If I want to do 1, 2, 3, what should I do? All of this should be very helpful for you. So hopefully this was good and helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.